Hey guys, just wanted to do my review of Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 8, The Chicago Way. So, it starts out with the Legion of Doom arriving in the Roaring Twenties with Malcolm Merlyn as part of their ranks now to offer their services to Al Capone, saying their enemies coming to threaten his his criminal empire. It creates an aberration, and apparently it's part of a trap for the Legend, which has been strategized by Malcolm Merlyn, implied by Damien Darhk, to come show up, and the Legends arrive there thinking that Ness is in danger, but Ray, not knowing that the cops in Chicago are corrupt, ends up handing Ness over to the Chicago PD, and he's about to be dumped in the river, cement shoe style, when the Legends come to his rescue. And even though he's dropped into the water, Vixen goes to save him and suffers some brain damage. And because of the Legion's actions, it causes an aberration in which Al Capone becomes mayor of Chicago instead of getting jailed for tax evasion. So they have to go find a ledger belonging to Capone in order to hand it over to the FBI. So basically, you have Ray, Jax, Stein, and Sarah going undercover at one of Capone's clubs, but they're ambushed by the Reverse Flash and Darhk, and the Reverse Flash captures Sarah and Stein, and of course the FBI comes in to bust the club, but it turns out all the liquor, considering alcohol is outlawed in the Prohibition era, but it's all been cleaned out. But Sarah and Stein are approached by Malcolm Merlyn, who tells Sarah that he was the one responsible for blowing up the Queen's Gambit, and offers to go back in time and prevent that from happening as long as she hands over the amulet. But she refuses, because even though Merlin's offering to give her a happier life than the one she's led since the events of Arrow, she's become selfless enough to the point where it's like you can't bend time for selfish reasons without affecting other people's lives. And Stein is impressed by her selflessness, and Sarah credits him for telling him not to, for her new selflessness. And she's talking, and she's like moaning about how she can't, about the thought of Merlyn being able to change time, and even the best of them can wreak havoc on the timeline. And that forces Stein to confess about the aberration he caused in 1987, that he now has a daughter. And Sarah's just pissed about this, and she tells Stein that the daughter's not real, but because of the new memories from the timeline, Stein has grown to love and care about her and doesn't want anything to happen to her. So Darhk comes in and takes Stein, and then he's approached by Eobard Thawne, not recognizing him somehow, even though there was like a camera in the pipeline during the events of the season 1 finale of The Flash. But Thawne seems to know of Martin Stein, so he just says when Stein says, "Do I know you?" Thawne just goes, "It's complicated," and he still has that little device from season 1 of The Flash, which he used to steal Harrison Wells' identity, except he modified it to be non-lethal. And so when the Legends come to the rescue, they're able to get the ledger, free Sarah, and who they think is Martin Stein. And throughout the episode, they're kind of following mixed leads, saying that they have to think like a criminal now instead of thinking like a FBI agent or a law enforcement or a member of law enforcement. But he's being haunted by hallucinations of Leonard Snart telling him that, he should just abandon the team and stop acting like a hero, even though he's able to Mike's able to ignore it for the most part, and is able to continue with the mission. And they bring everybody back to the ship, and Jax notices the fake Stein like speeding around the library, and tries to warn everybody about the speedster disguising himself as Stein. And Jax gets to go get a speedster gun. Ray puts on his armor, and Nate tries to get Sarah out of the library, away from the fake Stein, who she accidentally told about Stein's daughter. But then Thawne realizes that they're onto his act, and so he vibes out of his disguise and starts speeding around the ship until he's briefly subdued by a speedster gun found in Rip Hunter's arsenal in a secret cabin where they kept Future Barry's message, and by Ray. But he speeds to the ship's bridge and allows Malcolm Merlyn and Capone's men to raid the ship looking for the amulets. So Mick and Vixen set a trap to make it look like Mick is trying to sneak the amulets off the ship, but instead they realize that the little box containing it is empty, and so Vixen shoots Thawne with a speedster gun, but Thawne gets the upper hand because the effects are only temporary, and Thawne almost kills Vixen until he gets a beeping on his watch that says, I think, warning, and so he just speeds off. I don't know if it's either implied. I think it might have been, and I watched this multiple times on YouTube, this scene where it looked like he was saying warning on the watch, which I guess was warning him of a potential paradox that he would have caused by killing Amaya, and which is pretty interesting. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just speculating. And of course, Malcolm is on the bridge of the ship and looking for the amulet, but then Sarah shows up and kicks his ass, and just when she's about to slit his throat, he wheels his way out of it by offering Stein's life in exchange for the amulet, and Sarah decides to take the deal and is able to come to Martin Stein's rescue and kill Capone's men and knock out Capone and come to Stein's rescue, while Nate and Ray are able to hand over the ledger to Elliot Ness, who's recovered from the brain damage while he was on the ship, recovering from the brain damage from when he was dumped in the water. And they give him the ledger from Capone, and Sarah just tells Stein that there's something that's more important than history, and that even though she can't save Laurel, she wants to protect her new family, which includes the Legends as well as Stein's daughter Lily. And Thawne explains to Merlyn and Dark that the two amulets are just an amulet in two pieces, and it creates a map that's supposed to lead to the Spear of Destiny, allowing them all to rewrite reality, and that their next step is finding Rip Hunter, who just happens to be and first you think he time scattered himself into the future since he's being chased by time police, but then he realizes that he's actually working as a film director without his English accent in 1967 Los Angeles, filming a movie about himself. Subconscious, it's like you can tell it's like time drifting, where it's like he's been in that period for so long that he's lost his identity, but he's subconsciously making a movie based on his own life and not realizing that they're just memories just manifesting themselves. So now it's going to be interesting to see how long this whole memory loss Rip is going to play a role in the episode, and also what kind of dynamics he's going to bring to the team now, since is Sarah still going to be the leader? How long is it going to be before he gets his memories back? How much does he know about Thawne and how he's been brought back as a result of Flashpoint? Is going to be interesting. And I also like the scene between Mick and Vixen, in which, at first they were kind of vitriolic towards one another, and now it just seems like they're on better terms. And And now it just seems how it's gotten to the point where it's like she admits that it was more fun being a criminal, and even steals like some Canadian whiskey for Mick and kisses him on the cheek. You know, the sign of gratitude. So overall, I think this was probably my. I don't know. I think it was like one of the most fun episodes of like the mid-season finales from all 4 DC shows. So, what do you guys think? What was your favorite mid-season finale for the DC shows? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.